What's up?
Damn.
About what?
I'm upset.
Why?
Hello.
Why?
Welcome to another low effort podcast where I'm angry about things, which is new. This is new. I've never been upset about anything on this podcast. I'm usually the chill one.
Yeah, you longtime dumpster goblins will know. Trey, he's cool,
Yeah,
cool as a cucumber all the time.
Cool as a
Yeah,
that is a
definitely
saying.
never about Ubisoft.
Yeah, I've
definitely never
gone
about
off on
yeah.
several tangents. I'm upset, Dan. This is really big deal. This is a really big deal I'm upset about.
Why?
Because they changed the ending, Dan. The ending credits, Dan.
Oh,
The ending credits, Dan. They changed them. They changed it. It's all over.
Yeah.
It's all fucking over.
Yeah. I mean, not only that, Trey, they changed, 2 lines.
Yes.
And, man, I just wish I wasn't, stupid
enough.
enough.
Context!
Yeah, but I wish I was, just not so... brain not so small that me no understand context and situation.
We should just kill ourselves. I think that's
He didn't say love, Trey. The scene's ruined.
Look,
it's not like you can understand... Ah, God.
He's not gay now. Or... the whole anime's ruined. Alright, we're starting over. We need to bomb everything.
Scorched Earth.
Scorched Earth. Anime's ruined.
Yeah, so, if you guys don't know, I finished Ava.
Yeah.
And in my tradition of watching old anime and then seeing how people who have watched that anime before, grew up with it, because I never had watched Ava. Let me lead. I never had watched anything about Evangelion until I started the series on Netflix.
Yeah, because it was really hard to find.
Mm-hmm. And I will say, I think that's the coolest thing I'll give Netflix about doing that. Thank God they use their money for something.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the companies in there are just being shitheel still, apparently, because we mentioned Netflix did a whole redub of the show.
Yep.
And for the English dub, and they changed some of the subtitling on some of the lines.
Yes.
Because
and
the original,
and I think there are some worse translations, but it's very minor. I feel like I don't know. The Eva fan base is a very clear lot. They're just very. I don't know. They're purists. I think is a good word for it. I think going down 5 years from now, I think they're still going to be if you don't have the DVD box set of the entire season, screw the remakes. I don't like those. The rebuilds are garbage. Yutaka Yano, he's been smoking too much of that money that he keeps getting off of the evil rights, so he's terrible now. He's a bad director.
Even though I don't even think he gets money off the Ava rights anymore.
Probably not. Japan's fucked up. They don't give creative minds. They don't give...
Or ADP, the people who did the dubbing just refused to give up their license. They were like, no! And it's are you going to release it and maybe make some money? No!
Nah.
But, so we can kind of briefly discuss Ava. Just remind me, Tyler, how far did you get in Ava?
I basically got to the episode where they needed to learn how to dance.
That was one of my favorite episodes.
I like that episode a lot.
I like that episode. I like that sequence a lot. I'll say, I thought that was really cool. Did you not like it? Or?
I don't know. I think at that point I was just getting burned out by Asuka and I just didn't want to watch more. And so I stopped and I never ended up going back to finish.
I will say, so I have a couple things about the show. I let me just lead. It's not going to be another one of those situations. I liked the show. I genuinely liked the show. And I do like that show too.
I'm honestly a little surprised. Because going in when I was recommending it, I just thought it was a little bit maybe this is just my own experience from recommending anime, where it's it's so weird that I feel it, especially the end of Evangelion, is just so weird that I'm hesitant to recommend it to anyone. It's just but I guess but what did you like about it? What really stuck out to you?
So stuff I like. First of all, I can really see how this and Akira would be... Oh, God, I just said that so wrong. I feel like Akira? I feel like... Yeah, but I feel like I can really see how if I was a weird teenager or young adult in the early 90s when those were coming out and anime could have been this cool, niche, weird thing, I can really see how those would be defining pieces. Let me lead with that.
Yeah, for sure. When growing up, and obviously I watched it in the early mid 2000s. I definitely missed the boat on this one because I mean when it came out I was
you were a literal child.
Yeah, I was a literal babu. But but like growing up, it's just there's nothing else really like this at all. Even still, even the entire 90s tried to copy Evangelion, like any mecha that came out after Evangelion. There's like a definite line like before Eva and after Eva because you know something's inspired by Eva when like eyeballs and shit just start appearing on robots and things, and you're like, that's a little similar to things. I'm looking at you, Eureka 7. I like that anime a lot, but it does have a lot of it's very clear inspirations from Eva.
Yeah.
But I just think the designs of the angels and the designs of the actual Eva units were just really, really interesting. The symbolism was cleverly done.
It was a little heavy-handed, man.
Yeah.
It was nice.
But
yeah.
I don't think heavy-handed necessarily means bad, especially when
no, not at all. Yeah, it's just like when it's. Oh, okay. I mean, let me leave. I think the biggest thing I don't like about Evangelion, especially going back and trying to like read and figure out some things, is the Evangelion fan base is one of the most toxic fan bases. Yes. I'm sorry, or one of the most like, oh, you don't get it, you fucking plebeian.
Especially when people like try and attribute like it being as deeper than it actually is.
You can explain that congratulations clap to me 1,000 times and it's still stupid.
Yeah,
it's fine. It makes sense. It's stupid.
It's a cool. I thought it was a cool sequence for a team who had run out of money. Like that's That I think when it comes down to it, that's what it is. Like if you strip away all the pretentious crap, that's it. That is what it is. It's a final sequence for a team that was at the end of their budget.
Yeah, no. What were the other things that I'd say? I think that's the biggest thing I've had is like, man, I'm glad I wasn't into this show when it was a big thing. It almost, like I was saying, it's really cool to see the prototypical versions of a lot of these characters, or these character concepts, like the OG Tsundere, the quiet, whatever you would call Rei.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what you'd call. I don't really know. Besides, it's like Tsundere and Yandere, and those are the two I know.
Yeah, not even like a Dere, she's but not, just like that just quiet,
like the weird quiet girl character.
Yeah, I'd say even the older sister kind of thing that became a trope. Kind of started with Misato. Yeah, Misato. And I do the kind of thing in that same vein of tying it back to what we were saying. I feel like the Evangelion fan base is the prototypical version of the Rick and Morty fan base.
Actually, wait, yeah.
It's a fucking cartoon. Yeah, it's got some cool symbolism and some deep things. You're not smart for understanding some of the things
especially,
in it.
I think even the weirdest shit, like, it's not that, like, when you tear it open, it's like, it's not as deep. Especially, and I know this has been, like, bunked and debunked over and over, but Hidetaka Anno has come on record and said that a lot of the symbolism people are reading into is nowhere near as pertinent as they seem to think it is. That being said, there is a lot of really cool things, especially with like mirroring scenes. There's a screenshot floating out there from the second episode, I think, where Misato grabs Shinji in literally the exact same way the angel grabbed him and on the head.
Yeah.
It's shot the exact same. It goes by really quickly, and I'm like, that's a purposeful choice. They did that on purpose. Like, that's really cool.
Yeah, no, like I said, there's a ton I liked about that show.
Yeah.
I can, without trying to sound like a contentious opinion, I can get why this show would be called a classic more so, or like why this show would still belong in a lot of people's top 10s more so than Cowboy Bebop.
Ooh.
Oh, well, and I like Cowboy Bebop. We've been over this a million times. I'm not getting into it again.
Hates Cowboy Bebop, and he hates everybody who likes Cowboy Bebop should probably just like give up. No, your opinions are trash. No. Obviously, I'm kidding, but
yeah. But no, the thing again with Eva is it's just seeing a lot of it really defined things. It's unique. That being said, Trey, I'm going to run some criticisms by you that I have with the show. Some big problems.
Yes.
A couple big problems. Number one. What did any of the side characters do?
Exist, I guess. I don't really
stupidest episode for me.
I agree. I mean, besides the main cast, but this kind of they spouted things that were happening in the fight, like in a lot of Japanese monster flicks. Like,
no, not even that. I just mean like they try to like develop some of these characters and don't do anything. Like, I thought one of the stupidest episode twist things they did was when his friend, kind of spoilers, Tyler, if you want me to get into it.
Oh no, go for it.
Okay, when his friend ended up being the pilot of Unit 3, and it's just like, oh, yeah, we just decided that was going to happen. It didn't feel worked towards. They're like, oh, hey, this kid is totally a pilot.
Yeah, that was a little bit... I think that was mostly just... I feel like they had
mostly for the anger reaction.
Yeah, I think it was... Yeah, they came up with a conclusion before they came up with a, proper setup for it. Because, like, I think my opinion on that, especially because you can see that scene in the opening credits. With the bloody hand. I assume they had an idea for him to crush one of his... one of his friends. My personal theory was it was supposed to be Ray, but I don't. I mean, but obviously they went in a different direction. I don't think it made a lot of sense. Maybe I just don't know enough about that particular. I'm sure somebody's got some intricate theory about that part, but I feel like that was one of the weaker segments of the entire thing.
And I think the show takes a long time. I was almost going to say, because Tyler, when you mentioned where you kind of lost interest because of Asuka, like, it took me a couple episodes after that for me to say I really got into the show, like, had a desire to want to watch it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, like, be genuinely interested in it. I felt like it was very much a slow burn, but a lot of the shows back then
I think that what really got me really interested was the intrigue, especially, like you said, like, towards the end when you start realizing what Nerve was actually up to, but like pre first impact, like when you figure out like what they were at, the stuff they were actually doing, you're like, oh.
Yeah, no, it was that. It's just a lot. Again, I think the show had a lot of ideas, but you can tell when they ran out of money.
Yeah, like there was a lot of rushing towards the end, like that entire scene where he kills what's his face, the angel. Can't remember his name.
Yeah, where they're just standing there still for so long.
Yeah, that was entirely due to budget constraints. And that, actually, a lot of people think it's, like, one of the better scenes in the entire show. But, like, the fact that, like, there's just music there is solely because they ran out of money. It just, like, it goes on for a long, uncomfortable time, and I think that actually ended up people liking that, even though, like, that was just because they didn't have money to do anything else.
Yeah, well, and it's the same. I know people like to harp on the elevator scene. That one doesn't bother me nearly as much as in that same episode, the scene of Asuka, like where she flashes to herself, but it's a different voice actor, like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah,
sorry, not 5 or 6, like 10 to 12 times.
Yeah,
I was like, we would have gotten this off of 5 of this.
Yeah, and it definitely. I mean, I have to commend Gynax for doing as well as they did with how much money they just didn't have at the time. I think there were some clever workarounds. It's definitely a testament to like what artists and creative types can do when they have less. Like when you give them not a lot to work with. Yeah.
I can kind of see it. I don't know. The biggest thing I think I have, and this was like a hot take. I don't know if this is a hot take. I feel like if this is, and we can kind of maybe discuss this, if Evangelion came out like recently, or like a story very similar to it, I feel like people would talk about Evangelion the same way they talk about Darling in the Franxx. They're like, oh yeah, it's a good show, and then the ending just goes off the fucking rails.
Yeah. Do you think so? I mean, I think the Darling in the Franxx is ending went off the rails in a way.
Oh, much more so, stupider way.
Yeah. Like I do agree with you in the sense that its ending went off the fucking hook, but I do think that ending, at least that one sticks with you instead of giant space waifu, which I guess you kind of had in Eva too, but way more horrific.
Yeah. Well, no, Trey. I'm not talking the movie ending. No, I'm talking
like
the last 2 episodes. I'm talking the last 2 episodes.
Oh yeah. I mean, obviously, I wasn't there, and I was a little child when the ending came out. But I'm pretty sure, at least from what I've heard, people did not like the ending before the movies.
Okay. That's what I've kind of seen.
People were not inclined to like it just because of it's very just different. It's weird, and it doesn't really resolve much.
I watched those episodes. I watched the movies. I kind of rewatched some of the last 2 episodes. I still don't think I could tell you what the third impact actually was. like, I could tell you it happened, and I don't know if there's a difference between, the third impact versus human instrumentality. Like, are they the same thing? They're the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Or did he use the impact to do instrumentality? I don't know.
Yeah, we don't
also, I'm just...
There's theories that, there was a video I watched a few years ago, actually, by, like, Demolition D. There's a theory there was a theory that the reboot movies are actually the result of the third impact.
Okay. I was almost wondering, too, because... the end... Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, it's Shinji remaking the series, essentially.
Yeah.
Especially, there's some clues about it, like there's a giant outline of something in a hill. All the C's are red in the movie, like the end of Eva. Like because I've watched all of the reboot movies. They're interesting. They're definitely different. Shinji's basically a different person.
Yeah,
he's like an action hero in that one, which is part of the reason people theorize that it's him redoing things. It's even why they even call him the reduce.
Yeah, recode. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you cannot redo stuff like that. It's just it's an interesting theory. I don't know if it's true or not, but
it's kind of cool. It'd almost be like that Ultraman or like SSS Gridman type deal. So they've experimented with that before, where it's rehashings of the same universe.
Yeah, and I think that was pretty cool. Do you get where I was going though with the Gridman being having a lot of Eva inspiration though?
No, I absolutely see. I kind of see. It almost makes me kind of lose a little bit, or not lose respect for Studio Trigger, but the fact that between Darling and the Franxx,
yeah.
No, they kind of always do this again.
Yes, they absolutely do it again. Always.
They've just been trying to capture this magic in a bottle. Even I will say, Gurren Lagann is still very distinct.
Very distinct. Yeah. Like they had, I think Gurren Lagann, but like Darling and the Franxx was more Gurren Lagann than it was Eva when you got down to it. Like,
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
And then Gridman was definitely very Eva. Like you can kind of see.
You mean the students of Neon Genesis High School?
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously there was that nod, but I think the nods were less clever. Like that was a clever little haha. Remember when we did that thing? And then they just kept doing. Like then they were like, oh, what if we were that? Like what if?
Yeah.
What if we used trains the exact same way we did in Eva?
Or even have that weird kind of real life sequence.
Yeah, like it's just. It was very, like, and you can kind of see where I both kind of liked it and also kind of, like, was like, this is very Ava when I watched Gridman, when I was talking about it with you guys. Because, like, I really enjoyed Gridman. I still really enjoy Gridman. I think it's good. I just, I mean, there's inspiration and then there's, we did a thing, let's do a thing again.
I was going to say, some of those subtle nods were kind of like, nod.
Yeah.
Just nod your head right into a fucking wall.
Subtlety.
Yeah, but anyway, I think I can we've ranted on Ava for a while. If you haven't watched it at this point, I think it still is worth watching.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's kind of it's close to a glowing recommendation as I can think of when when both of us think it's pretty good. I'd be curious to see what Tyler thinks of it if he ever came back to it, but I mean, obviously, no rush.
Yeah.
I might.
Well, I think Trey, sometime you and I might need to talk more because I have some things I can get into, but there's other things that existed this week besides a 2-decade-old show.
Yes, there are things to talk about.
But why would I watch a good old show when I can watch new trash, Trey?
Yeah. Let's get into that.
There's a bunch of trash that we could totally talk about.
So much trash.
Tyler, tell me about that trash.
First, I want to just quickly say I finished up the Seven Seeds first part, and it is a first part. They did it like they did that one that Dan was angry at earlier, where they kind of stopped halfway through a season.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
Yeah. So it very much just ended on a cliffhanger. Not
if
to
they
mention,
do that with Carol and Tuesday, I'm gonna fucking riot.
Apparently, it's really rushed compared to whatever the source material was. So it's just something's happened way too quick.
I've been hearing a lot of bad. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I'm hearing a lot of bad.
It's not amazing. So anyway, we'll move on. Trey, do you want to talk about the one that I know we both watched.
Yeah, hell yeah. Copcraft, my man. Copcraft is a gem. And I love it. So far. I'm really enjoying it. It's wait, I want to find the synopsis because I'm pretty sure the synopsis tells you all you need to know.
Let's see here. Where is it at? Jeez.
They like to hide it. After the Earth was linked with a magical world, San Teresa City became a melting pot of cultures and species. But despite the peace on the surface, there's always an underbelly. That's where Detective Kai Motaba and Knight Tiana come in.
That literally just sounds. It's bright is the big analogy.
Yeah,
I get.
Oh no, it's so bright. It's like,
very bright. I think it's better than Bright so far.
Yeah, it's kind of like if Bright was like went more towards the like TV procedural.
Yeah, it's like a cop
It's
drama.
A cop show. Yeah,
it's
like
it's definitely a cop drama.
Even from the opening, like the opening is pretty much just like mimicking a. Like Law and Order or
yeah, and a lot of the shots, especially a lot of the cutaway shots, like when like the transitions are like scenes of like girls on a beach or like people like eating out. Like it's just like they just do these cutaway shots to show like people living in this gritty city, and I'm like, yeah. I have seen this so many times in like a bunch of other cop dramas, except for it's like there's magic.
Weird seeing it in an anime because I feel like I don't see it as much there.
Yeah.
That's a new genre for anime, kind of.
It's sort of. Yeah. It reminds me a lot of older anime and a lot of in a good way. Like it reminds me of a lot of like the grittier anime that used to like the Black Bullets. What was it called? Black Lagoons and stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Really?
Ooh, stylistically, it kind of gives me that vibe of like this like gritty realism that like sort of anime's kind of lost a little bit. Like, and when I say lost, I don't mean like there's no more gritty shows out there. I think that anime kind of has a tendency nowadays to go on the extremes, where it's like if it's a gritty show, it's literal like just torture mostly. Like it's just gratuitous, whereas this one is just like they live in a darker city. Like it's a setting that's darker, but they're not afraid to like have some fun with it. Like when the fairy elf character comes on, and there's some comedy between him and the.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like they're very much kind of that like buddy cop duo sort of vibe where there's some comedy between that, but the plot itself doesn't necessarily have a lot of comedy.
Yeah, like the plot itself is fairly serious. Yeah, most of the comedy comes from like she doesn't understand human customs because she's from a different universe.
Yeah.
So it's Bright.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, it's totally
it's absolutely Bright, but it's not garbage. This is coming from someone who enjoyed Bright.
I was gonna say, Trey, I have audio of you defending Bright.
I enjoyed Bright. I think it's a bad. I like genuinely think it's terrible. I'm pretty sure I said that. I don't think it's a good.
Yeah,
show.
You
I don't think it's a good movie. I just enjoyed it because I have a penchant for shit.
I understand. I get that.
Yeah,
I think we all get that.
Yeah.
But this is enjoyable. Like, what do you think of it, Tyler?
So far, I agree. I think what kind of sold me on it was the opening.
Yeah, the opening
it just kind of does
the music is so good. It's just like it just gives you that vibe of and like the bouncy animation. You're just like, huh.
Yeah. Well, actually, I was gonna say the little like pre-opening thing.
This is their lives.
This is their lives. Yeah, like this is the story of the men and women who guard our border to another world.
No fucking way they actually do that.
Yeah, it's something similar to that.
Like right after like the prelude where like they set up the mystery, it like it does this like this is the story of the men and women who defend our borders. It's so good. It's just like I saw that and I'm like, oh my lord.
That's really what sold me on this show. And so far I kind of like the interactions between the two people, and it's the kind of standard like hard detective, but he's got a heart of gold.
This character came right out of like a 90s like novella. Like he's always smoking. Always smoking.
This is my type. Wait, yeah, this is for me.
Yeah,
I'm into
the main
this.
character literally never stops smoking. Like he's just like, you're like when when the police chief introduces his partner, he's like, I don't know if you're ready to work the case. You have to let me work the case, chief.
No fucking way. Oh my gosh.
You're too close to this. We're taking you off. Yeah, there's no way you can take me off.
You can't take me off this case.
Oh, goodness.
Well, now I need another new show to watch, because that's on my list.
Yeah, it knows what it is. It knows what it is so much, and it's just playing to it. Even the lighting choices, like...
Mm-hmm.
Like there's just like harsh lighting all over the place, and it's just so man, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I hope it doesn't just devolve into nonsense.
I kind of hope it does.
Sorry, I hope it devolves into like good, fun nonsense, and not just like it doesn't just like take itself way too seriously.
Yeah, I hope so too.
I hope it understands I hope it understands what it is and just continues to do that.
Oh yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens with it. I'm assuming you've watched the whole thing up till now, and
yeah, I watched the first episode. I haven't watched the second episode yet.
Oh, okay. So you are a little bit back, but yeah, no, it's again so far it has me hooked. I'm looking forward to more, and
yeah. Oh God, there's so much anime this season that I want to watch.
There really is. But I will move on to a little more possible trash. We'll see.
Sure.
As we talked about a little bit before the show, they have doubled down on isekai shows this season.
Yes, yes, they have.
Yes.
Completely. So far, one that hasn't completely turned me off yet is Demon Lord Retry. And mainly because it just has some fun little gags in there that I really enjoyed. Mm-hmm. Like in the second episode, they do the whole like... little character breakdown when they do the little halfway through the episode thing. And they say like race, sex, height, age, all that stuff. And they, for some reason, decided to do a character breakdown on the main character's cigarettes in the second half. So it was just like race, tobacco, sex, none, like all this.
Race, tobacco. I like that.
So I really enjoyed that. It seems like they're not really taking themselves that seriously. And the other thing I kind of like about the show so far is how the main character is completely playing into the character that he has. But apparently he created two characters in this online world. And at one point, he had the option to switch between them, and he switched off to his other character and then completely played the role of his other character, which is almost completely opposite of his main one, the Demon Lord character. Sure. You know, stereotypical that. But I'm kind of hoping they do some fun, interesting stuff with that and make it not as much of an isekai as it could be.
I'm not going to hold my breath.
I'm not either, but I'll give it a couple more episodes.
I've lost all my faith in isekai to do anything. Even if that's how they get you, Tyler. They have a clever concept. They're like, man, there's a lot of potential here. And then you start watching it, and then you get like halfway through the series, and you're like, oh my, no. Oh Lord, no.
This show actually is one that, like, even the premise and everything kind of, I was like, I don't know, but I'll give it the old, like, 2-episode... try just to see. And that's where it got me, is actually watching the 2 episodes, because the premise and even the name and all that stuff did not really capture my attention. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. We'll see. If they can, keep it up, and if they can do a good job maintaining that, then, it could be an okay show.
Yeah.
For your sake, I don't think it's going to be amazing.
I want to see you devolve into hating that show, or at least like lukewarm.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
That could
just
happen.
Give it a couple more episodes to really, really just go fully.
Let it sink in.
Yeah. Let's see. One of the other ones I watched just briefly. Well, I watched a couple there briefly, but is another one on Hulu. Arifureta from Commonplace to World's Strongest, and the name I didn't care for at all, of course, because it's just very much another isekai. It seems like this one is taking more of the slime one, the whatever that one was, the slime isekai, yeah, where it's just like that but more gritty, is basically this one from what I've seen.
I feel like I read a little bit of not the light novel. I think there was a manga for it. I think I started it and dropped it because I didn't like it.
Okay, yeah, I probably won't either. But I, watched an episode of it, and it was.
I mean, you gotta try. Like
you do.
Maybe there's a ReZero in there somewhere. Like you never know.
Yeah, because as soon as you stop, you're gonna pass by something good. Or you'll find things like that Mom Sakai. So.
Oh please!
MILF Sakai.
Yeah, can you read the title for our lovely audience, just for them? They need to hear it. They need to hear the title.
Okay, wait. Let's grab this title here.
I don't want to say anything else about it. Just that. I just want them.
All right. So here's the title of your Mom Sakai. Do you love your mom and her 2-hit multi-target attacks?
I love it so. That is the dumbest.
My advice to you guys: read the title. Don't watch the show.
Just leave it alone.
Just leave it alone. Leave it at that. Enjoy the title because it is a great title.
That's a fantastic title.
And then just pass.
Yeah.
Because it's only going to go downhill from there.
See, I don't know. I'm almost expecting and wondering if that one's going to be the standout, do something weird, cool, and crazy.
If the first episode says anything, then no.
Again,
probably not.
It's possible. You never know what'll be the next Konosuba or ReZero, but there's just so many of them. You can't...
I don't know, man. Konosuba from episode 1 got its hooks in.
True. I'm just
ReZero,
very true.
ReZero's taken a while.
I mean, you're talking to the wrong person about Konosuba, but
Yeah, but
ReZero was good.
It's alright. You're allowed to be wrong, Tyler. ReZero. There's just so much coming out that I've watched 4 episodes. I was like, yeah, this is kind of good. Wait a second. Other shows.
Yeah.
I can't.
This is new.
I can't blame you this season. There's just too much to watch.
It's not even this season. I'm just still catching up on Bungo Stray Dogs, which I'm actually almost done with that season. I won't say anything more than holy hell, more people need to watch Bungo Stray Dogs, so I can talk about more Bungo Stray Dogs with more people.
It's definitely on my list.
Maybe I'll get back into it.
Yeah.
Please do.
It's on my list. I'm almost caught up with Attack on Titan, and that's been my mission.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then Demon Slayer still exists.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I do.
It continues to be pretty good.
Yeah.
It continues to be a fun watch.
Yeah, it's fun. It's nothing amazing, but it's fun.
I don't really see that. I don't really see
the
it
art
being
style
a classic.
is incredible.
It looks nice. Yeah, that's kind of my thing. It's a very good popcorn show for me.
It's pretty, and UFO Table does a ridiculous job as always, but it's definitely not going to stick with me. I don't think.
Yeah.
I think my big thing is I'm just passing on the 2 major shonen we already talked about for this season. I might wait until they finish, but I did not like the first episode of Fire Force.
Yeah.
Really?
I didn't hate it. I didn't love. There were parts I think we talked about this already, but there are parts I didn't enjoy. I thought the animation was good, but man, some of the some of the transitions between scenes were very amateurish. I don't understand that. There's a popular show on Netflix that came out, and I know Tyler started it. Have you finished Stranger Things yet?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right. We haven't talked about Stranger Things yet. I've been waiting for somebody.
Yes.
Somebody to give me the goods. Give me your impressions.
Ooh, it's fantastic.
So good.
Should we put a spoiler warning up here because?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Spoilers. Yeah, there's some spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers. If you haven't already seen so many spoilers on social media already, because there's been a ton.
Yeah.
But spoiler warning. If you want to go in without knowing anything.
Yeah. And I guess we could put a little. At least for me, I'm not gonna say anything that happens in the very end of it, but I will go into mid and
You see, I don't know, because the best scene is so close to the end.
Is it the letter scene or what scene is that?
It's the bathroom one.
Oh, okay.
At least that was one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah, one of my favorite scenes was a song, a beautiful song.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that was also amazing.
It's a beautiful song.
But there's not really a lot to say about that. It was just a beautiful moment, lots of nostalgia bait,
beautiful.
Yeah, and it was just wonderfully done. So.
Yeah. Yeah, but I guess things that I liked about the show, I think the Russo are...
it's the, starts with a D, I think. The something... I don't remember. I'm bad at this.
Yeah, I'm usually pretty good at this, but there's a lot of there's a lot of sibling developer, directing teams out there.
Isn't it like Duffer or something like that?
It might be the Duffer Brothers, yeah. Yeah, it's the Duffer Brothers. Yeah, there's a lot of sibling directors out there, so it's gets kind of mixed up sometimes.
Yeah.
I think the Duffer Brothers are really, really good at capturing that like 80s style of filmmaking. I don't really know what they did to. I don't know how they do it, but man, like when you watch shots in this, like if it wasn't for the fact of how high definition they were, you'd be like, man, this wouldn't be out of place in like. An 80s movie. It's actually really, really like eerily well done. Like the mannerisms of the characters, the way they dress, like the lighting they use, even like wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, and it's all perfectly complemented by the sound design, music, and
very good sound design. I thought this season was a little funnier than the last seasons, and I think that's mostly down to the villain. I think one of the villains. There's two main evil forces in this season.
Yeah.
One is obviously the Upside Down. The Mind Flayer is a major component in this season, and the other one is which is hilarious to me, is the Russians.
Yes.
And I know. I've heard a few complaints levied at the Russians in this because of how terrible they are, like just how incompetent they are constantly. I honestly kind of love that because it's very much in like the style of the 80s. Mm-hmm. Like the Russians are just so bad at everything they do. Like I legitimately don't know how they even did anything in this season because they're just so constantly outsmarted, outwitted, and just like outdone by literally every character.
It's like, how did they even get to that point in the first place?
It's like, how did you do? Literally, they're so stupid all the time. Besides Alexei, my beautiful child.
Oh, Alexei is
my beautiful boy.
Wonderful.
Besides him and Arnold Schwarzenegger lookalike.
Yeah.
Which can we like talk about that guy. They wanted him to be as Terminator as humanly possible.
He was just
while not being a robot.
Yeah, because that was my impression too. The first thing I thought of him is Terminator, because he really does look similar too.
The way he walks, he's just like he acts like a robot, even though he's not. It's very much a purposeful choice. Like there's a scene where he like grabs he has an assault rifle, and instead of taking aimed shots, which very definitely would have injured or killed Hopper Joyce, he just fires from the hip like some Rambo. Just for no reason. He's just firing from the hip, doing his 80s action pose.
Yep.
Misses everybody, doesn't hit, just dings at the car, and that's it.
It's very good.
Yeah, very, very good. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed the plot of this one, even if I think it was a little messier, mostly because it a lot of the characters kind of split up.
That's
a lot
true.
of the characters don't even meet up, don't really even meet up until the last two episodes.
Yeah, and I was that's the one thing I didn't love about it, not to mention there were certain characters which just didn't get a lot of attention this season. Like Will didn't really get
my poor boy
anything. Will and I think Lucas
wants to play D&D.
Yeah,
that's all he wants is to play D&D.
Granted, they had 2 or 3 new characters to introduce, or at least give bigger roles to.
Yeah, they did,
and that really took the time away because they had not very many episodes and several more characters to cover.
Yeah, I mean I think that's the biggest. My biggest complaint, and I think that's why you get this weird dissonance where everybody's just split up because there's just so many characters, you can't have them all sharing screen time at once. Or else you or
you don't have any personal moments or anything, so it's I can see you need to do it.
Yeah, obviously, you need to do it, but I'm hoping that for season 4, because there's gonna be a season 4. I don't know if they've confirmed it. Oh, have they? I have no idea if they have or not, but if there isn't a season 4, then I think what?
Yeah, no.
Why? I'm hoping that they trim the cast a little bit, just kind of maybe get rid of a few characters that like maybe. I mean, obviously there was some trimming. If it was trimming, we lost a character, but he didn't die on screen, so I'm not convinced he's dead.
I don't know. I think he is, but
I'm not. I have been.
I mean, you're right.
I've seen this too many times. They have to die on screen, or it's not canon.
I guess you're right. They could pull some weird like other dimension crap, and
he's stuck in the Upside Down. I'm convinced of it.
Yeah, they could do that. I hope they don't.
Yeah.
But
Lucas's sister can just go leave. I don't like her. I think she actively brought the show down by her being in it.
Yeah, I didn't think she was amazing. She had a couple little good parts, but I mean, it was.
I don't know. See, maybe this is just like maybe this is my perspective on it, but I don't like the fact because like I like Lucas a lot because he's not like just a stereotypical black character. Like he is the token black friend, but like
yeah.
But what I don't like is the fact that his sister is just the sassy black girl. That's her entire. That's like you. They just strained all forms of character. The only thing that you learn about her is that she's a nerd that likes to call everyone else nerds, and then she has all the sassy one-liners. And I don't know. I don't personally think that's a very fun.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of that. I especially considering how different her and her brother are. I don't really understand how like she turned out the way she did and he didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like her. I just think she was a brat, and she was a brat who just was sassy. That was her entire character, and I hope they either get rid of her or heavily change her in the next season.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I think it was okay for this season, but I don't think that character could survive another season.
Yeah, she just doesn't bring enough, I don't think.
Yeah.
Personally.
But again, also, I didn't think that Lucas really had anything this season. Like,
yeah, I thought he was a side character for sure this season.
He was very much a side character this season.
Very much a side, but I think he was more just a supporting he was a support character for Mike. Like he was Mike's
oh, that's true.
Coach. That was sort of his role in the story. And I thought that was commendable. And to be fair, it's not like he didn't get to do anything. That whole fireworks stuff, that was entirely like they wouldn't have succeeded in the plot without that plan.
Yeah. Which
but
actually
I agree. He didn't have any real there was nothing emotionally investing with him, like besides him coaching Mike. There was nothing for him to do. Like him and Max's relationship didn't advance at all in the entire season.
Yeah. Also, is it just me, or is Will, as he gets older, is his acting getting more wooden?
I think so. I think it's more. I don't think it's his acting. I think it's just that he didn't get a lot to do. His character was so one note this season.
Yeah, that's true.
His character was literally his. I mean, it's a meme at this point where it's just like all he wants to do is play D&D. He brings it up 8 times. And
oh yeah, Will. Yeah.
Because he's a nerd.
It's just so bad. Him, and then also the other kid, Elle's boyfriend kid.
Oh, Mike?
Mike was also just, he didn't feel like he...
Yeah, I'm not really...
Honestly, apart from the... Geez, now I'm blanking on all their names. I am just doing terribly today. But it seemed like most of the kind of original D&D group just didn't have a lot this season.
Yeah, I think... Dustin had a lot.
Dustin was by far the biggest one, and
Dustin had
the most interesting.
And this is something I've had a complaint about this since season 2, honestly, where I think Elle's a little bit too central to the plot of this story.
Yeah,
so, everything else kind of falls apart when she's just such a huge part of the story that everyone else just kind of has to live with her has to just kind of play second fiddle to her all the time, which is okay. It's not a bad thing.
Although I feel this season she really wasn't that as much.
I don't know. I felt she was. She solved 80% of their problems.
Yeah, I guess you did, but it was it felt like everybody else was doing a lot of the legwork to get there.
Yeah, and then she just came in and
was just
and won because that's her entire shtick.
Yeah. I mean, she's very much the like Deus Ex Machina kind of character.
She's very much the Ex Machina character, which is fine. They set it up. It's not like she does anything she couldn't do in the other seasons. There was a thing that happened to her later, which I'm hoping that they stick with for a long time, and I hope that like when she finally does get the thing, it's very near the end of the next season, because I do think they're kind of using her as a crutch a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. I can definitely see that. However, again, some of the writing was just strong enough this season that...
this is season... I think shot composition and writing, especially around, what's his name? Steve.
Steve
and Robin, I thought were really well written. Those two were phenomenal. That was a...
And I just really loved their story and the twist there, and it was all...
Very good.
Very well done.
But I don't want to keep us here too long, especially because Dan has nothing to do. So
yeah, I was gonna say I tried. I don't know, man. I tried to watch Stranger Things back when season 1 was the thing. I got 2 episodes in. I just could not give a shit.
That's fair.
I don't know why.
That's fair. I really enjoy it. I think
could not.
Yeah, I think it's one of Netflix's best properties, and I hope they continue to do well by it. I will say I think the cracks are starting to show, but I still love this season. I think it's definitely the best season. Better than season 2. It's tied for season 1 for me in terms of like my enjoyment of it.
I would
say, I was gonna say
this
hit season.
Well, they're different things because I thought season 1 was more of a horror season.
Yes, this one's not a horror. It's a thriller. It's a blockbuster affair, definitely.
Which I mean, once you know the monster, the horror kind of goes away.
Yeah, and I think it does that really well. Especially like you can't bring in the evil Russians and it not be like evil Russians in the 80s and not have it be like a popcorn action thriller.
Yeah,
with some horror elements. That's what it was. It definitely there was something in this season that scared me.
Yeah,
there was some gross stuff, but like not scary necessarily.
Yeah.
But yeah, anybody else do anything else this week though?
It happened very shortly before this episode aired, but y'all watched the live-action Cats trailer?
No, I did not. No. I did not watch that. Is it like
we're gonna watch that together later.
Okay.
I'm scared. I'm gonna leave it at that. We'll get into it later. The only other thing, one quick note from earlier in the show, I sent it to you guys. I'm upset. Carol and Tuesday is getting split into 2 parts by Netflix.
Netflix, you gotta stop.
Yeah. The fact that they're not even releasing the first part until the end of August now.
Yeah, too. Like what the I hate Netflix ransoms. I hate when they hold anime for ransom. It's so annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting annoying. But I know there's something. Oh, I did watch. Maybe we can talk about it real quick. Because Trey recommended it to me. I started watching it. Tyler, I don't know if you watched it, but I basically binged the first season of American Vandal.
Oh, you finished the first season?
Yeah, I finished the first season. I binged it while I was playing Divinity in the background.
Oh man, American Vandal's so good.
Yeah, I kind of slept on that show. I don't know if I haven't gotten to the second season yet. Tyler, have you watched it at all?
I have not at all, no.
I actually enjoyed the second season more than I enjoyed the first season, which I was surprised about because I thought the first season. I didn't think they could do it twice, but like the second season's so different than the first. That it's very good. I am very excited for everything that the next season. I'm pretty sure there's a third season planned.
Yeah, I think it was made by the Funny or Die guys.
Yeah, it's just very. It's such a stupid premise, but man, do they make it work.
I see. Okay, let me lead with this. For those who don't know, American Vandal does this. I'd say it kind of like parodies the documentary.
Yeah,
the very popular like true crime documentary.
Yes,
basically,
it's
a parody of Making a Murderer.
Mm-hmm.
Which I love that Netflix funded Making a Murderer, saw the reaction that some people had to Making a Murderer, and then funded American Vandal.
Yeah.
Like, it's very much the true crime, like, parody, like we don't know, did we actually solve anything? But this episode got you to think.
Yeah.
Who's an art, and I think my favorite part was in the episode where they point out that everybody just starts sending them their theories, like, oh, obviously I figured it out, because... Does anybody remember, like, the 3 weeks when Making a Murderer came out and everybody suddenly, like, had a law degree?
Yep, I remember that. I remember people I know, having very nuanced opinions about that. And
yeah, or not even nuanced. They would just be like, "Well, it's obvious, dude. Just look at it." I was like, "Yeah, the documentary had to frame it a certain way, man."
There's spinning involved. You can't like discount that.
Yeah, and how they point that out in American Vandal, I think it's super well done, and it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's funny, and like you won't always be laughing out loud, but man, will you be like, it's like the entire premise is just so funny, and all the twists and turns that happen to it is just like so funny. You're just like, man, this is like, it's one of those like, I might not be laughing, but man, am I entertained.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. I'm excited to get to the second season. I think I might try to catch up on my backlog for a while.
Fair enough, yeah. But I really enjoyed the second season. They definitely take it in some very different directions. Especially because at first it kind of feels very similar. I thought they were just going to rehash the first season. Like, is this going to be like a new case with the same sort of deal? And then it just goes in some very different directions, like towards the midpoint. And I thought that really elevated it for me.
Yeah. It's also, they're short seasons. It's only 8-episode seasons.
And they're
usually about half an hour long episodes.
Yeah,
the finales are usually like an hour.
I finished both seasons in a day, I'm pretty sure, or like 1 or 2 days for both seasons. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, not very long. Highly recommend that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Especially if you like mockumentaries.
See, and the thing is like I'm not super big on mockumentaries. Like, documentary now is very hit or miss for me. It's a very similar show. Have either of you watched Documentary Now?
No.
I have not.
It's, I think IFC funded it, but it's Fred Armisen and Bill Hader. I really like Fred Armisen. I can really take or leave Bill Hader, depending on his role. But it basically, like, each episode parodies a different form of documentary. The episode I really like, they kind of parody Vice documentaries, and they just end up getting murdered 3 times. Because it's like, you know how Vice is like, oh, we actually managed to sit down with this drug dealer and get him to talk about things. And they're like, they go into the car to talk to the drug dealer, and you just hear, poof, poof. And then it's Jack Black as their producer. He's like, yeah, we lost him down there. It turns out if you just try to ask a drug dealer about his operation, he kills you.
That's pretty good. I like that.
It's so good. Yeah, that episode was real funny. But, yeah. I think this did that much better.
Mm-hmm.
So, highly recommend.
Yeah.
All right. So check that one out.
I haven't done. Well, okay. I will say I have things in the works for next episode for you lovely goblins. I am playing all 3 Bioshocks for my Steam Bath.
Ooh.
So I will have some hot takes on those. But being that those are big games and seeing that I love all of those games, I really want to give them like the I really want to give them the compare and contrast treatment. I'm gonna spend some quality time with them. So no Steam Bath for me this week.
So get ready for Steam Bathysphere.
Yes, Steam Bathysphere. That's a good one.
I like it.
That's a good one. Yeah,
all right,
we're gonna be spending a lot of time in the water together, goblins. Hope you're ready.
Well, then I'll just briefly talk about the game I've been playing, since we haven't talked about games much this week. Which is just released, was Dragon Quest Builders 2.
Yeah, you said it was like consuming your soul, right?
It is consuming my life right now. Mm-hmm. It is. I'm very much enjoying it. They took a lot of the things that were kind of annoyances from the first game and really improved upon them, which is great. Some of which is the kind of sandbox mode of the game has been incorporated into the story and is done a lot better.
Okay.
Not to mention you can actually get NPCs with you in the story portion. Mm-hmm. I haven't tried it yet, but there is multiplayer in this one.
Yeah, and do you get it on the Switch or the PS4?
Yeah, the Switch. I got it on the Switch. Which, I will say, I think the game runs pretty amazingly well on the Switch, given that it is a voxel-type game.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know about Dragon Quest Builders, it's basically Dragon Quest said, hey, let's take Minecraft, make it, and give it the kind of Dragon Warrior or Dragon Quest flair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think they've added like their own like settlement deal and like a story and stuff, right?
Yes, so it is story-driven, and there are boss battles typically at the end of each story segment. They're nothing like incredible, but they did fix one of the least favorite things about the first game boss battles, which is you would get into the boss battle and you'd spend all this time, hours and hours, like building up this town, and then the boss would just come around and just like bulldoze it. And then your town would just stay destroyed after that. And you would be like...
I kind of like that. In like a sort of like, look at what you built. Watch me destroy it.
Yeah. And it wasn't that bad.
It kind of makes the bosses feel threatening, right? Like they just...
It really does, actually.
Break your shit.
But they made that better, where your town just gets repaired back to what it was after a boss fight, which is nice.
Yeah, maybe I'm crazy, but I actually think I prefer the first one.
Maybe, and it wasn't that bad in the first game because you basically would just move on to the next segment of the story, the next chapter, and it was in a different place.
Oh, okay.
And you would never really go back anyway, unless you wanted to...
Right. See, I guess if you had to stay in the same place and then rebuild every time a monster showed up, I think that would have been a cool... like, it's like the sort of like... It's like the Godzilla problem. Like, you're defending the city, but like, man, at what cost?
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay.
And then some other just nice improvements. NPCs can help you build things. I'm not sure if I care about the fact that NPCs that live in your towns now seem to want food all the time. Before they didn't care. At the moment, it doesn't seem like things are particularly negatively affected by them not eating.
Yeah, starve them.
Also, in this new game, poop has become a resource you can use.
Like for fuel or like for...
to make like fertilizer and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But they call it night soil in the game.
The night soil.
And like every character who like talks about it, they're just like, "Oh, it's well, you know."
It's the night soil.
And nobody ever says night soil.
Night soil.
You got any of that? Nice.
Yeah. It really does sound bad, and the picture it uses does not look anything like poop, because it is like purple and has stuff sticking out of it, so I'm not sure what they're eating, but
gross.
Actually, I guess I know exactly what they're eating because I'm giving them all their food.
Yeah.
True.
So what you're saying is you're running an elaborate jankum ring.
Yeah.
Ew.
But yeah, ultimately, the game is way better than the first one. A lot bigger. The sandbox mode, like I said, is built into the main story and done way better. And it's a little bit more of a guided sandbox where there are rewards for doing certain things, but they also don't limit what you can do.
Right.
In it. So
are you on like a timer before like monsters show up, or you just kind of like hit a check, you like do quests and then monster quest will show up?
Can show up. It's mixed. Their bigger battles tend to be quest driven. I don't think they happen in the sandbox mode.
Okay.
But little battles will happen anytime, and it's just, a horde of monsters has appeared and they're attacking, and they're usually weak and don't really do anything.
Okay.
Like, they might go after your crops, but your citizens will just go and replant any crops the monsters destroy anyway. So it's not punishing. Yeah, I mean, again, altogether, it's been a fun game. Minor complaints, tool switching's a little bit of a pain. Cameras in tight quarters are really bad, but that's a challenge in pretty much every game where you have that kind of stuff. And ultimately, it's just, it's way better than the first one. If you like the first one, if you like the Minecraft style games,
if you want to waste a lot of time.
If you like the Dragon Quest games, but don't mind that it's not turn-based battles, yeah, give it a shot.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice.
Well, we're hitting that time again, folks, and I hate to see
here
you
we
go,
are once again.
But I love to watch you leave.
Ooh.
Get out.
Love you, dumpster goblins.